Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode on the Blind Spot with Randy. How are you all doing? I trust everybody's doing fine. Um, yeah, I want to say, before I go on with the show, I always want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't been watching, you might as well want to start watching now and or from now on, right? Yeah, follow me on all my platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah. So, and also on YouTube. Also on YouTube. So on YouTube, the it's the Blind Spot with Randy on YouTube, and then on Facebook and on Instagram, it's um on Facebook it's Randy Igalo. Yeah, Randy Ihalo. But we always want to make you guys understand the name. So just, we don't want to stress you guys to say Randy Gallo, but it's Randy Ihalo. So that's how my surname is being pronounced. Ihalo, right? But we don't want to stress you guys. So just go with it. Igalo. Yeah. So on Facebook, Randy Igalo, and on Instagram, it's Randy Igalo as well. One word. Yeah. And on Twitter is Igalo Randy, one word. Yeah. On TikTok is randy.igalo, right? And on YouTube is The Blind Spot with Randy, one word, on YouTube. Yes, okay, let's get it rolling. So once again, welcome to The Blind Spot with Randy. Welcome to another episode. So today's topic, right? I really want to make this known to young footballers. It's always been about them, right? This, like I said, I've said it before, this podcast is mainly about the young footballers, the growing ones, right? That really wants to take football as a career, as a profession. Yeah, they really need to know these things, because these are some of the things in football that would not really be highlighted, right? Would not really be brought to their knowledge, right? That's why I gave this podcast. I named it The Blind Spot, because these are the blind spots in football that people don't really talk about, that people don't really get into. It's just there, and football has made footballers not see this sport, right? They've just limited this whole thing to, they've just boxed footballer to just one session and left them there. So blind spot, that my show is to enlighten, is to educate, right? And to inform young footballers what they need to know. I always say this: football is not all about going on the pitch and play 11 aside or 2 aside. Papa, you play your technique, drills, and all those things. Yeah, that's it for the game. But football is not just about that. It's more than that. And with the way the world is today, trust me, football is definitely more than that. So there's a whole lot, like, these young players need to know, right? In football, there's a whole lot. Trust me, there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot. I've talked about discipline. I've talked about the scams that goes on in football. I've talked about all this, and there's so many things I will talk about also. So it's all coming up. It's all coming up. It's all building, right? But today, I'm gonna talk about, if you must play football, if you as a young footballer, right, you want to play football, you want a career from football, you want to make football as a profession, right? If you must play football, you must get education alongside that. Fact, I'm not here to mind what. I'm not here to to sweet talk you. Like I said, I will always say what it is. I will always say the truth about this whole game because, like I said, there's a whole lot of things that they don't tell you or they don't tell us. Back then and days, they don't really say these things, but I feel I've taken it upon myself, right, to bring this out there to the young players. It's very important for you to get education if you want to play football as a career. Very important. You know why? Okay. I know it's most footballers don't want to hear these things, most upcoming, because I understand the system, right? Because back then, football and education is I don't know how to put it, but the system, right? Back then, I don't know how it is right now, but back then the system didn't really encourage that, right? And the thing is, just because if you are playing, if you want to take football as a career, if you want to play football, like this is what you really want to do in life, right? It's what you must really focus on. If you do anything aside that, it's going to distract you from football. This just the picture back then. This was the picture back then. This was how it was back then. So education back then with football. So let me give you an example. Okay, in I think the only place where it's going to be easier for you, like very easy for you to combine football and education is primary school, the high school, what you say, the high school, right? Primary school. I think that's the only easier place for you to do that because in primary school, there's not much to do. They really do not have tournaments like that or games like that. But outside primary school, when you get to secondary school and you start playing tournament, because in secondary school, they are number one, there's Principal Cup. That one that's that one. Back then it was the biggest stage of football for every young players. Well, Principal Cup was oof. I would have to do another video, separate video for Principal Cup stories, right? Because they were interesting stories. So yeah. So back then in secondary school, you have Principal Cup. And now let me create this picture for you. So you play in secondary school, right? You play in Principal Cup, right? And then you join the school team, you make the school team, and you guys start preparing. Let's say it happens in, is it the first? I don't know if it's the first, second term or third term. If that's where I can't remember right now. But let's say they play like the second term, or let's say third term, right? That's what they play Principal Cup, and then mind you, 3 weeks or 1 month before the tournament kicks off, right? The whole Principal Cup before it kicks off, 3 months, 1 month, right? Teams are training, schools are training and everything. You will go to training. Now, if your school does not have a field in the building, you have to go train somewhere else, right? You have to go train somewhere else. So that's like you training far away from the school, right? Okay. Training starts at a certain time. So definitely, I don't know if you're playing for, I mean, whatever team you're playing for, the junior boys or you're playing for the senior boys or you're playing for the girls team, you would go to training. School starts 7 a.m., right? And most schools, they train every day, Monday to Friday, right? School starts 7 a.m. 7 or 8 a.m. till like maybe 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., whatever time, right? You have to go to training. Training starts 7 a.m. also or 8 a.m. also, right? The senior boys would train, the girls would train, the junior boys would train. I don't know how the arrangement was made back then, but that's what it was. So you go to training. So in the morning, before you get to school, you go to training. Now, you might spend like 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours. It depends. I don't know, but I'm trying to use my own story to create this whole picture, right? But So you would spend 3 hours. That's outside school. You spend 3 hours outside school, and then After training, then you're gonna go to school. So school starts 7 or 8 a.m., right? Let's say you miss first class or second class, you get to school like maybe 11 a.m. or 12 p.m., right? And then you just have 2 more hours because school closes at 2. You have 2 more hours to go, and then there might not be too much for you to learn in 2 hours. And the thing is that back then there was no arrangement for players, for football players in school that, okay, these guys are representing our school. We need to take care of them. We need to look after them. We need to arrange separate classes for them. Whatever they miss, they need to. There was nothing like that. Whatever you miss, if you don't go. Church, you don't miss something that. That's it. And you will do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now you will do that for 1 month, right? Principal Cup starts. You can't play games, they play. Funny enough, when I come to win games, right? Your school is doing well. You play knockout stages. You went to the semi-final, blah blah. You play on a rich final. My brother, you feel miss. You see how you go miss classes and everything, right? And then maybe say I taught them that thing they happen. You go miss all those things and taught them. After 2 months, after exam, time for exam don't start. So what's there? So you see how you've missed classes, right? And there's no arrangement for you to meet up, for you to catch up for 18 and everything. There's no arrangement. So it's difficult. It's difficult for you to combine. So if you want to play football at that time, the system made it a way that you must choose one. Like just choose one. There's no arrangement for, okay, you can do this. It's very, very difficult. Trust me, it's very difficult. Very, very. Because there was no arrangement like that back then. I don't know if things have changed now, but back then there was no arrangement. So you see, and then exam time, you will be saying you don't learn anything, or it depends. Maybe you might be brilliant. Maybe you just need to read like maybe 2 or 3 weeks and you will catch up with everything. Everybody's different. Not everybody would do that, right? So that's one scenario. That's one scenario, right? And another thing, okay, aside secondary school, now to the university, right? Definitely, that's where it's like you can't do it. Like you can't do it. You can't go to university and then you can't play active football, because back then the deals, the managers, the agents, they were all back home, right? You don't have too many people watching you in school, or you don't have too many agents coming to. Nah, you were all back home, the pitch where you trained before. You feel this school, you feel go school now, right? You go here, say one agent don't come, D don't come, this person don't travel. Then you start feeling so like, man, I shouldn't be here. I should have been home. I should have been doing this. So there's even in the university, right? Agents don't go to the university to look for players. Only on rare occasion that you hear a player travel from school. He had a deal and there was arrangement. Okay, we did it. Very rare. I don't know. Yeah, there might be 1 or 2 cases, but it's very, very rare. And I'm not saying this that was the reality back then, because there was no arrangement. Because, well, I think one of the reasons why footballers don't even like to go to school, right? Or don't even want to get education is just because they feel if they do that, it's going to reduce their chances of them, right, in the football world. And that's the truth. I'm not blaming them for not wanting to do that, or no, I'm not blaming them, but that's just what it was. There was no arrangement. Like there's nothing like, okay, if you come to school, okay, we have scholarship, we have these. If you are good with these, there'll be tournaments in school, right? There'll be tournaments in school. If you're good, we'll give you scholarship. If you guys are going for games, we'll try to make arrangements for you to meet up with whatever it is you miss in classes. I don't think, like I said, I don't know if things have changed now. I don't know, but back then, nothing like that. Nothing like that. If you, for school, the only thing is that, yeah, you guys will play tournaments, school tournaments, whatever it is. But then, like I said, if you go play these tournaments, you will not come back and they will not wait for you to come back. Oh, one player, they play for school. Okay, let's wait for him, right? Let's just stop lecture. Let him come back and then we'll know. Nothing like that. And there's not even like, okay, we'll make their classes separately. There was no arrangement. So these are the reasons why football players do not really want to go to school. And the system didn't make it attractive for them to come to school, because if there's a system in place, right, that's making things very attractive, right, and say, if you come to school, there's more opportunity for you, right, in school. If you come to school, we have this program, we have these tournaments are going on, like very serious tournament, like strong tournaments. When we say they play tournaments, they invite scouts, they come tournaments for school, they invite agents, they come. When they will come this tournament, you know the time they come into the tournament, everybody, trust me, every footballer go want go school. Every footballer go want go university. Trust me. If they do it like that, because I know in different their countries, like I don't want, but they in some countries, right, before you get to the top, right, before you can get like going to professional, before you get here in sport and everything, before you get to the top, you would have to pass through the school, right? So there's a system there, right? You go to the school, there's scholarship, the school will give you scholarship. If they know that you are good, if they know you are good at what you do, they will want you to attend their school. When you come to their school, there's program in place. If you are playing tournament, if you are presenting the school, you will be protected, right? If you're doing that, they will have like, okay, you will still come back, whatever it is you miss, right, you will come back to it and you will do it, assessment, test, they will give you your separately. But I don't know if this happens back home, but back then, no, I don't think so. So that is why footballers, them and school, they really align. The highest footballer want just secondary school, and even the secondary school, they don't even really put they don't really invest their time in it and really want to. But trust me, like I said, education is important, very important in the life of a footballer. You know why? Because everything that concerns football, back then, today, everything that concerns football is on paper. You go sign contract. You see, if they want deceive person, right? If they want extort person, if somebody want really extort person and he know say this person will extort, he know to sabi one or two things, he go put them for paper. You write paper full, you go write full, yeah. Then you go, this is whatever, blah blah blah, sign. And then you will no con sabi read, right? You sign anything, because there's stories of footballers. I have one or two stories of footballers that they don't know what they signed up for, right? They just gave them. And just because they were not educated or they didn't go to school, they just signed anything. And trust me, that was the beginning to the end, or beginning to, how did they put them? The beginning of an end of, or whatever, of their career. There are so many players like that. They've signed what they can't even, like, they don't even know how to come out of it, right? So that's why I'm saying it's very important, right, to get education. It's very important, like I said. And I will say this, right, getting education, it's not necessarily going into the university. It's good if you have the chance, if you have the means, because I know how it is. If it's money also. If you have the chance, if you have the means, yeah, go to the university, you get more education. But from your primary school days, now it's for the younger players, right? From your primary school days to your secondary school days, you need to take these years serious. You need to learn. As a football player, you should be able to read and write. Some players don't know how to read. Some players don't even know how to write. They are player. This is not even some player they wey no sabi write in name, but he good na they take it. Very good player. Anywhere he go get deal, he go sign. But he cannot read. He cannot write. Okay, tell me what's going to happen to a player like that. And like I said, agents of darkness. All these agents, agents of darkness. It will only take a God-fearing agent or somebody that will just help you, right, build you up and make you But most of them, they will take advantage of that. Trust me. They definitely 100%. They are players that sign playing for a club. The club pays the agent. The agent pays the player. Ha. Voila. Voila. Like I've heard a story, right? And this is not just for small, even some of your big players, some of your players where they see today, some of them that they started like that too. It wasn't until when they got to a level and they got to a place where they say the icon open or they come, somebody come put them train. Then they pay their agent. The club, the agent they sign. The agent say the club will they pay him. If they on agreement, everything. The player don't know because he don't understand or he don't read, right? The player don't know. So the club they pay the club, but they pay the agent, and the agent go come they pay the player. Some situations, right? I know of a story where we say somebody player in Europe, right? Somebody in Europe. Football player in Europe, not even say they want by Europe or Europe or one kind country. No, Europe, one of the 5 countries, top countries in Europe, right? Football countries in Europe. He signed. They pay him. The agent they pay him for naira. Naira, like the agent. They pay the club. They don't consider the club because the club they pay the guy in salary and everything. They pay out the agent. But the agent, they pay the boy. The agent they pay for naira. No people he go send naira. No people say they pay him for euro or the naira. Naira they pay him. So all these things, I feel these things are right. I just because the some of these footballers, right, they don't really see education as something important, right? They don't see it as a big deal. They don't see it as something they need, as a necessity. But trust me, it is. Like I said, if you must play, you must get educated. And it's going to help you. Not even with deals and signing contracts and reading. It's going to help you also in what you call it. It's going to help you also in meeting people, like getting into spaces, expressing yourself, and the long run also. Like I said, football is not just only on the pitch, right? Off the pitch, after your footballing career, you'll be able to do so many things. Trust me, so many things. And there are some players, right? The reason why they know they talk or why we say if they go somewhere they sit down, because most of them they don't know if they don't reach that place, if they don't go Europe, they don't reach that place. We say people they will be say they know if you express themselves, right? Now why most of them people you see they say they're quiet or not like now just because they know if you express and everything, right? So these things, it's trust me, it's very important. Like these young guys, you need to know this. Do not ignore education. Like I said, you put it together and do it. Put it together and do it. Do not abandon education for football, right? And do not abandon football for education. Do it together. It's going to help you. Not even in the long run, it's really, really going to help you, and it's very important. I don't know how I really need to emphasize this because like I said, I've seen the pattern, right? And I know the system and I know how it is. Like I said, I don't know if things are changing today back home. I don't know if we're getting better with this whole putting it together, football and education. I don't know if we're getting better, if we're trying to change things. But like I said, back then it wasn't like that. And I really would not blame the players because they see football as their life. They see football as what they want to do. So if there's anything that's gonna hinder them or reduce their chances of them going professional or getting better deals in, they would rather stop doing that. And that's one of the reasons why footballers do not want to go to school. It's just because if they go to school is going to take them out of that space where the chances of them getting better and getting deals and everything is high. That's it. It's high. That's what they feel. That's what they feel. That's what was back then. That's what was happening back then. Like I said, the issue with the thing of university, if you go to school, even if you go to school like in the state, like let's say you're from a particular state and you go to school in that state and everything, you're still gonna be distracted somehow. And there's no program for you. There's no arrangement for you to meet up on. No, you will still have to leave one to focus on one. I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult. But like I said, trust me, it's very important. Young footballers need to know this. It's very important. Like I said, not necessarily the university, right? If you can, if you go, it's good if you can. But from your primary school days to your secondary school days, you have to take these years serious. Put your head down. You need to learn. There are schools. There are some people who say they no go university, but they know something. They're educated, right? Because university, you feel stop them. You feel no go now, right? In the future, you feel go. You understand? Primary school, I don't know if you feel no go now. I don't know for that one. I mean, but the basic education you should get, like a young footballer should get, is primary school and secondary school. The basic. You just get it at that time. Just get it at that time and get it done with. And like I said, put everything in it. Don't be distracted. I know it's difficult. Like I said, it's difficult with the whole tournament in school and everything. I know, because at that time, your head, you're young. This tournament is buzzing. You want to, like I said, the principal cup dinner. Because that back then, right? Back then, that period, if you know they play, if you be footballer, young footballer, where even though be young, young that time, you day and you day school, play principal cup, forget that, be anything. Nobody know you. Nobody know you. So the whole buzz that came with principal cup, then excitement, you want to represent your school. When you go to games, you see the whole school will turn up and want to, you feel forget class. You know, go class at that. My principal cup story is I need a good school. They can't even talk that one now. So that whole frenzy of the whole principal cup, you will like leave class, you go forget class, make a good training, even on Monday to Friday, even if I don't even go school at all. But I could go training just because you understand. It's football, like I said, football. That's what football we do. Football will always make you. It will take your time, will consume you, but you need to try, because you need it in the future. Do not let these agents take advantage of you. Do not let some other people take advantage of you, because trust me, if they see that you're not educated, if they see, they would take disadvantage. No matter how good you are as a football player, if you are not educated, if you don't know certain things, if you don't know basics, right, in reading and in writing and in communicating, right, if you don't know these things, I wouldn't say you won't go far, right, in football. I wouldn't say that, but the chances, right, of you going far and then of you getting to the top, right, it's not too much. Trust me. Yeah, it's not too much. It's not too much. Like I said, no matter how good you are, we've seen these things. I've seen better players, great, but they don't know anything. They will go sign contracts, because, like I said, contract, you have to read, you have to sign. You know what you're signing. Some players, they sign life contract for someone. Some players, they sign contract, we say, maybe the club don't say they're going to pay them maybe 100, a certain amount of money, but the agent go there, took the contract and everything, and just give the guy sign everything, and club go they pay agent, my agent go they pay player. And you know how, like I said, you know how those guys are. Some of them, they're heartless, agents of darkness. I call some of them agents of darkness, right? They're heartless, and they don't care about you. They only care about them and what they can extort, what they can get from you. That's it. Only few agents are concerned of your well-being, your future, and everything. Only few will want to put you through. Okay, you don't know this. Okay, we'll arrange this for you. We'll set this over. Yeah, only very few. Like I said. So today's topic, right? It's football and education. If you must play football as a young footballer, I'm saying emphasis on young players. Emphasis on young players wanting to take football as a profession, a career. I want to make something out of football. This is what you want to choose. This is what you want to do. You must get education and the basics. Like I said, you must get education, the basic, from your primary school days to your secondary school days. Very important. Get everything you need to get from on this level. Learn, equip yourself, and then